ago, and then someone didn't join, and I was like, well, that's strange, but we are kicked off here with the first match of the night, Fearless Alpha versus Storm, kicking it off hot and ready in the highest, well, second highest tier, if you will, of the RSC, and we're starting off with a quick attempt here by Wizzo, just about stopped on the line by Last Sensational. It was a sensational finish, living up to his name very early on. A couple things to note here, Darky is not on the side of Storm tonight, it is Wizzo, Leviathan and Alls, perfectly capable team of taking it to Fearless Alpha here with that early chance for Wizzo. Now we're Alls here with a flick just on the edge of the box. Lars gets his second save. We're already starting off with a hot take for Storm.
Yeah, Storm seemingly whipping out all the mechanics. We saw an attempted classy flick there from Oz, clearly feeling himself as Fearless spending the majority of that first minute penned back on their own goal line. It'll be interesting to see how that might affect them confidence-wise as Leviathan getting that one clear. Matty rising high, getting that one into middle. Only as far as Oz looking for the pass out to Wizzo. That one going high, a bit awkward to read, and Larson looking to chase this one down, beating to it. Oz into the middle. Maybe having a go himself, but Matty able to emerge with the ball as that one booming long. Leviathan up high, tipping that one into the corner. Had to get that touch right or it could have fallen straight to Larson, who looks infield for Dylan. Couldn't get that shot around the defender, and Larson taking that challenge. And Dylan looking to get this one clear. And we're having a bit more of a midfield battle, a bit more of a scrappy affair right now in this second minute compared to the first.
That's what I'd love to see at the start of the series. Neither team quite sure what the other's going to bring out. Just testing each other, shots across the bow, what you got. And for the moment, it's like Storm has been brewing a little bit more than Fearless Alpha's ability to play, but I've seen some nice things from both sides. The passing is clearly there, the chemistry is evident. We'll just have to see who breaks the deadlock first, how it affects them especially. But right through the corner here, Wizard with a little bit of time on the ball. Maddie tries to cut that out, but Alls reads it first, tries to get back to his second touch as well, but Dylan able to stop it. And I do have personal experience against this Fearless Alpha side. Faced them with my team Gladiators in the semi-final of the preseason tournament. That one went the distance, so this side's pretty tough. And they get under your skin, they like to do crazy things. And Dylan hit with a nice flick or two, but couldn't quite find the ball under the crossbar. And pretty much Fearless Alpha's clearest chance goes begging. Storm are happy to hold on and wait for their opportunity through the middle, but Mariiti controls the ball here, gets it under one, but Alls just about reads it. Last Sensational going for the double tap, gets it to the backboard once again. And a follow-up from Dylan is there too. And now it's Storm that are under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, Storm rolls up in reverse, haven't they? That first minute we saw Storm pegging Fearless back on their goal line. Fearless coming out of their shell a little bit, then a bit more aggressively, and seemingly reaping the rewards. Now all they got to do is put the ball in the net, but Storm throwing everything they have at the ball, making sure that can't happen. Leviathan looking for a wall read here, doesn't quite get that one into the middle. Instead possession just goes to Larson, but Oz looking for the shot. Dylan couldn't quite reach it, and Oz gets the scoring underway in game number one.
It took 4, but he found his first. A wayward touch here from Larson through the corner, probably not what he was looking for, and Dylan does his best, gets a save on the scoreboard for it, but he'd much rather have no goal scored for Storm. They open it fairly late into this first game, but that may be the signal for the floodgates to be flung wide open. Alls just keeps it away from Lars, the second man, but he gets back to the ball, fakes out one, gets it up above the defenders, but Leviathan just about reads it, keeps that danger away from Dylan, but back into the mid again. Dylan stays in the danger area. Maddie comes flying into the third man and equalizing very quickly after that first concession. Important for Fearless Alpha.
Yeah, Dylan couldn't quite keep out the first, and ends up putting in Fearless's first of the game, tying us right back up in game number one, returning to that sort of war sort of style. Neither side really willing to give up any sort of advantage. Matty having to scramble across, getting the save there. And Wizzo with the challenge, only as far as Dylan, booming that one clear, opting not to hold on to possession is Leviathan in field. Dylan looking to cut that one up. Larson maybe not expecting that Matty has to go. And Leviathan looking for a play, but Dylan avoiding the bump, although also avoiding the ball. That could have been dangerous. As Wizzo rising high, keeping up the pressure. Storm really looking to get some pressure going on offense right now.
Yeah, they're looking for those cracks, looking to pry him wide open as Dylan, another pass to the mid. Alls is there, it flies off of Wizzo, it looked like. It lost a lot of power with the bounce. But thankfully for Fearless Alpha, their defense was ready. Wizzo is not ready for get back this, but Matty was not expecting the chance at the shot. Sends it flying wide, and this could be a counter, a 1v1. Leviathan throws away the ball, looking for the early shot. Matty is ready for it. Oh, a pass inside. Wizzo is there, but not going to find the target. Larson puts it across to the corner. Leviathan still keeping that pressure on. We've just seen stints of pressure. Both sides have had plenty of time on offense, but so clearly matched. And it's only ended up with 2 concessions as Dylan up here, not able to follow up the ball. Wizzo keeps it high. All's attempting to follow. Maddie just down to Leviathan, who does not get to the ball. Larson is there, but just about. Leviathan gets back to prevent the overtime killer, as this one's probably going to land in the red half. Alls puts it down. We get OT in the very first game of this series, and based on the power rankings, it's looking like it's pretty accurate at the moment.
Yeah, this series starting off the way that I'm sure the neutrals will be hoping that it goes on here, with an overtime in game number 1. Nice and entertaining, nice and end-to-end stuff. Neither side really able to really get their noses in front here, as Dylan looking to do so. Gets that ball in field. Matty rising high but beaten to it. Wizzo. Oh, beautiful 50-50, and Dylan might be in trouble here, tipping that one into the backboard. Ols looking for the shot. Dylan can be able to get back to it though. No boost to his name, simply just trying to put some pressure on this ball. Fearless finding themselves under a bit of early pressure in this overtime. Looking to try and break out is Matty. Although that one only as far as Wizzo, booming that one into the backboard straight at Dylan. Larson looking for the edge. Well, can he get back to it? No, denied by Leviathan. Is that one finding its way into the middle? Matty booming that one long again. Wizzo with time and space here, and the common theme of this game is it just has been so close, so end to end. Neither side wants to lose that first game.
Certainly not. It's a statement game in any series where, I mean, you're expected to have a tough time against one of the most well-praised teams in this conference, in this entire tier. But both sides, it seems like, have been playing with a little bit of fire. Of course, the mentality changes when overtime lands, because the clock doesn't matter anymore. It's not a factor. All you got to think about is not making those big mistakes. As Larson was looking for a bump there on the last man, but always avoids it, gets it away. Only back to Dylan, however, as he has the passing field, but Leviathan ends up taking control of it. Puts it across to the far wall after a big pinch. Then Maddie slams it to the backboard. Levi has enough boost for it, but the third man has a lot of space. Larson here, 2 at the backboard, going to drop down, but just about manages to win the 50. Wizzo wasn't ready, and the passing field. Dylan is there, going to take a shot. It's high, and it's in the back of the net as Dylan finishes it off just before the 2-minute mark of OT. And it was a matter of time. It felt like every single time Fearless Alpha went through those corners, there's just a little bit more pressure on Storm, a little bit less boost to utilize, and they finally broke them down. A great finish by Dylan, and a brace to go with it as well. Nice start to this series.
Yeah, well, Fearless Alpha, you could see early doors in that game. They were really looking for those infield, those outfield passing plays, and finally one pays off as Larson dishing that ball infield. Dylan finding that top corner of the net. An absolutely beautiful play by Fearless, able to get that goal. Ultimately, the difference, like you say, in overtime, the mentality changes. You just got to play as solid as possible. Fearless clearly doing the better job of that over the two sides, and hopefully game number 2 lives up to that same hype that game number 1 brought us, because that was definitely a exciting affair in game 1.
Total of 19 shots, 9-4 Fearless and 10-4 Storm, so very even on that front. As we said, both teams spent a lot of time in offense. They had a lot of opportunity to prove why they deserved to win that game, but had to get to overtime to decide it. And whilst it was a relatively simple finish for Dylan, they simply just beat them through the corner. It is that constant pressure and being able to commit to that and being consistent with it. And Storm just didn't have the ability to weather that, as they go into game 2 looking to bring this back and salvage at least a 3-1 from this series. But with a start like that, wondering whether or not it's going to be a goal fest after this, as both sides changed their mentality ever so slightly. Maybe Fearless Alpha got a little bit more confident, Storm got a little bit more defensive, which you'll have to see. But Madaiti with an early shot here is always patient, but Dylan is there for the shot, not enough power. Leviathan with an easy clear. Now All's got a lot of time to do what he wants with this ball. Loses control a little bit against the dunk over Matty. It's popped up once again into a dangerous area, but they just about survived that onslaught. And 2 whiffs here means Ols still has a little bit of time on the ball. Gets a nice dunk across, but Levi backflips, expecting Larson to get a touch there. Still, Ols on the ball. He's been so paramount to this Storm offense, keeping it alive, keeping it dangerous. And they're still in the corner. Levi's all alone, however, and Fearless Alpha do get a chance to break out.
Yeah, I mean, going back to your previous point, just as the game was kicking off about constant pressure, you think why BDS are so dominant in the RLCS? They do not let their opponents out their half when the ball gets in there. And ultimately, that is what Fearless were doing in the latter stages of that game number 1. Whether they can continue that in game 2, well, the next 3.5-ish minutes will tell us. Though Wizzlo having a chance there, but Larson able to get back to it. And we stay 0-0 for now. Dylan almost pouncing on that chance. Levi looking to clear, but Matty not giving him any space. And you see yet again Fearless just keeping this ball inside that half, although it's going to come out now. But you can see there another example. Fearless just so willing to put on that pressure and commit that third man to the ball.
And I think it's because Storm, they've had a lot of times where their possession's been rather flimsy. Alls has to make this touch to get it out, and it is a good clear, but there's also some philosophy that you've got to adapt to in terms of the way your opponent plays. If they're just going to keep throwing the ball, if they're not going to go for second touches, it uses a lot of boost. Alls here has to follow up Wizzo's touch because he can't get back to it himself, and once again we see a free clear for Fearless Alpha because they just can't control the ball. Levi is doing phenomenally well to keep away Bad AET. He was almost bumped out twice there, but allows his team to get back in rotation. Alls all alone on offense, looking for that dunk. Dylan passing it to the corner, trusting his teammate, gives away the ball. Wizzo to the backboard. Dylan is there, just about gets it away from the encroaching Storm offenses. We go to the halfway point of this second game. Still no goals. Big chance here as Alls is demoed out at the back. Levi with an open net to shoot at, just does not find the angle, and probably should have taken a slight bit more time there, maybe 1 or 2 more seconds just to figure out whether or not that was going to be an open net. But they took the early shot, and they don't get the chance. This was straight down to Matty ET. Somehow Red Wizzo's clear there. Dylan through the corner as well. They're able to keep the pressure. Another one to the backboard. Dylan decides to jump off, and Larson has a little bit of control on the ball, looking for the early shot. And Dylan somehow finds the boost. All's backflips, but no one is there. And just as you were saying about Fearless Alpha maybe jumping on Storm for their mistakes, for their lack of possession, they waited and they didn't get the chance. Levi has to take this off his own crossbar to keep it out. They're under so much pressure right now. They're looking to break, but All's just about keeps it away. Dylan with the final shot to the backboard. It's not going to be enough, and I think they've just about got away with that one.
Yeah, well, you say they've just about got away from it. Damage is... well, the damage has seemingly been done. For the last, 30 seconds, I've been cycling through their cameras, none of them having more than 10 boosts. They're breaking out now, they're finding that boost, but the pressure that Fearless Alpha were putting on them might just be too much here. Missing out on that chance. Wizzo able to clear. Can they get this counter-attack? Wizzo getting, what a beautiful pass in field here. Matty going to be able to get to it. Is this ball going to find itself in the midfield? Wizzo able to save, only as far as Dylan. Larson choosing to back off, not willing to pounce on that possession that was seemingly a bit free in the midfield. Larson looking for the redirect. Wizzo having to retreat into his own net to save that one. And you can see things starting to level out, but Fearless, my oh my, the pressure they've been putting up in this game has been phenomenal.
They seriously survived by the skin of their teeth there, Fearless Alpha. I mean, they only have 2 shots on the board, but so much clear space there on the edge of the red box that I really think they should have had a lot more chances. Larson with one here takes it from all the way across the half-line. Wayline Dylan down to Matty ET, but he's getting bumped out under too much pressure. Cannot get a shot away, and Wizzo with the dunk takes it over Larson, and it's all the way across the field. I really didn't want this to be the way that it probably ended, but just a little bit too much pressure there from Larson, not realizing that his teammate was not back in time, and Wizzo pounces on it. Storm take the mighty late lead, and with 14 seconds left, I feel like they have to get something off kickoff. Matty ET has a chance here, and All takes it off the post, keeps them alive, but Dylan is there to finish it off instead. He found his brace in the second game, and now he finds another to keep them in it. Oh, this is getting tense.
Oh, very tense. That doesn't even describe it. How on earth? We don't see a goal for 4.5 minutes. And then within about, what, 7 seconds of each other, we get one for each side. And just as we thought that Storm had snatched a late lead and might have just clinched game 2, we found ourselves in an overtime. How we found ourselves here? Well, that's the question we're asking ourselves. But probably the more important question, how is it going to end? Oh, getting the shot last, able to save that one. Only as far as Wizzo. And we saw so much pressure for Fearless Alpha for the majority of that game. And they might just be finding themselves penned back.
The shot, Maddie, he's not going to get it.
Oh, and the Storm pressure here. Well, it's safe to say that Fearless Alpha are going to have to try and weather the storm, so to speak, here in this overtime.
They've had to take so many shots against them, somehow getting away with it. Maddie, just up to the ceiling, Larson is able to clear it out. Only to Alls. Wizzo is there with a free shot, but this one's going to be wide. Not going to get a dunk this time. Dylan throws the ball away. Leviathan gets it under one, but Maddie is ready. And Fearless really embodying the old football adage. You're at your most vulnerable once you've scored, immediately after kickoff in this situation. But All's looking for that redirect. Leviathan is there to follow it up. Last and just about has enough boost to keep that away, but pressure's mounting. Storm looking to find some infield passes. Dylan is wise to it. Maddie looking to find one of his own, but not much boost. Alls is back and a double commit just about keeps it out, but chance for Maddie, takes control, looking to fake out one, but Alls pounces on that one. And Dylan does not get much from his 50. Larson is there, but just going to lose it out of the corner. And a big clear from Alls allows Leviathan to go to the backboard, looking for the double tap. Is he going to find it? No, just a little bit too low. Dylan doesn't get the touch, but Wizzo to the backboard. Maddie has plenty of boost to keep it away, but a demo on the third man could open it up. And now it's kind of just a neutral 50. Back into the mid. Wizzo to the backboard, looking for the double tap. Once again, he's going to get it, but not going to find the angle. And every single time they take a shot, oh no, the misrotation, Maddie isn't there, and Leviathan ends it. Takes this series back to a 1-1. And again, I've been mentioning it constantly throughout these two games. Just throwing away possession, that first touch, if you can't get back to the ball and if you're not going to find a teammate off of that, it's just another opportunity for your opponent to take control. And sometimes it's going to be a shot with Levi's there, and just an awful way to end it, just as the the first goal for Fearless Alpha ended up being for Storm even. Yeah,
I mean, Storm taking full advantage of the chances that they were given, and really, I guess you could say gifted by Fearless Alpha in that game. And the key thing to note really for Fearless Alpha is there were multiple occasions. You think to Larson getting dunked for that first goal, you think to that misrotation. Fearless Alpha really biting off a bit more than they could chew in that game number 2.
And it's the tough thing about mistakes like that. When you're playing so consistently, when you've got that ability to hold on for as long as the two teams did. I mean, we've only had 6 goals in this series. You know, it's been 1 goal every single time, but we've had to have 2 overtimes just to break them. Every single mistake, however big or small it is so much more amplified, is put under a microscope because you're being so consistent. You know, nobody mentions it when you're doing well, when you're doing good. It's when you do bad, it's when you make that big mistake that everybody jumps on it. And just as Storm jumped on Fearless Alpha's mistakes there, it goes back to a 1-1 series. And I mean, this is just as close as probably people were expecting. As you said, it's a great match for the neutrals. And now both these sides looking to try and salvage a 3-1 win, but as it stands, as it's looking, it's back and forth. I'm expecting this to go to a draw.
Yeah, I mean, the draw is probably the safest bet, although I'm not really a betting man, when both sides are going to be desperate to get off to a winning start in this league play so far, as Larson looking to brute force his way through this defense, as Wizzo just diving off the backboard, but not using any boost. Levi able to get this one clear. Matty looking to take control. That one going up to ceiling. Levi not able to get back to it. That could have spelt a bit of danger, but thankfully for Fearless Alpha, he wasn't able to make contact. Oh, it was beautiful play there. And that is the important thing you were mentioning at the end of that game. It's so important to take control with your first touch. Oh, almost doing it again. And it's the perfect example. Take control with your first touch.
It's just so threatening. It's so slippery. You never know when he's going to get another touch to take it around you. it makes you hesitate. It makes you not know when to commit. You want to sit back as long as possible, just in case. Levi with a shot here, puts it far post. I'm not sure what was wrong with Larsson's ability to control this ball here. He has plenty of boost. He just doesn't read the bounce, and then he's just in the wrong position. Leviathan's too quick, and a couple demos here and there meant that the back post was going to be wide open for Storm to take a shot at, and the earliest goal we have seen in this series comes just over a minute in.
You normally say a minute is the earliest goal that we see in the series. You might think we're crazy, but all of the drama has been so late so far. As Fearless are going to have to try and get their series back on track here. They're not going to want to settle for a draw. As Matty looking to get a dunk, but that one, I think that's safe to say that dunk backfired, finding its way into his own half. Dylan looking for another shot, but only able to keep up the pressure, and Levi looking to weasel his way out of trouble, but couldn't quite navigate between the defenders. Levi and Dylan fighting for possession, and also Dylan and Matty fighting for possession, but that's not what you want to see. They're on the same team. You don't want to beat your teammates to the ball. As Larsson looking to get this one in field. Matty couldn't quite connect, as Dylan also demoed. No opportunity for a third man to come in. Matty forcing the 50-50 into the corner, and they're going to have to scramble back here. Fearless might have just overcommit here, because Matty just about able to get that one clear, but it's not over yet. Larsson looking to clear this one. Dylan rising high, aiming for the backboard, and Oles saw that one all the way, able to get that one clear into the wall. Larsson looking for that backboard again, although it's definitely safe to say Storm are defending that backboard pretty effectively so far.
Saying that, for both sides, it feels like the comms are getting a little bit shaky. Muddy through the corner here, Wizzo has to deal with it. Does well, but there's so much open space. Not a single player on Storm there was behind the ball as that one rolled into the box. That could have gone very wrong also as well to get it past the first man. Maddie is there for the shot, not going to be enough. Levi has time to do what he wants. Yeah, the comms seem a little bit off. We've seen some double commits, we've seen some situations where, I mean, you should just communicate. You say you've got the ball, or you say you're going for the ball, and if that isn't communicated, if no one says anything, then you lead to situations where so much space is open for your opponent to work with because there's just no player there. There's two players on the ball, and you haven't got any great play off of it. All's so doing a lot of work solo, and has the backup in Levi to try and continue it forward, but eventually it's left to the third man. It's a decent 50 with Dylan. Matty trying to get a touch across, but it's beaten by Oles, and that's just about far post. That could have been another dunk for Storm to take on their belt. Getting a second goal in a series like this feels massive. Getting a 2-goal lead at all seems huge, just because of the way it's been going, because of how close it's been. Dylan here gets one through the corner. Larsson's up, but so is Oles. They both missed the ball, and it sort of resets for RET to go through the corner. It feels like Storm are just about holding on. Larsson gets a shot away, and there's the curse of the caster, Kedzie. I say they're just about holding on. And then a goal, a ball sorts straight past their defenders. So,
well, Fearless Alpha will be sending that payment into your bank account in the morning. They'll be thanking you so dearly for that caster curse right there.
If only.
Fearless jumping on that mistake. Larsson, perfect placement, by the way, on the shot. You were too busy joking about caster curse, but that is not an easy shot with the defender in the net. Was always looking to get this one in field, and we're back all square, and this really has just been the tale of this series so far. It's been so close, a match of fine margins, but I guess the casters have to get involved with defining those margins.
I mean, if the same thing keeps happening every time, 1-1, overtime, one of the teams scores a goal to finish it, then it's hard to say what's different, you know? Neither side seems to be making all that much of a change, and it's just, as you said, the finest of margins. One little thing, maybe a demo here, maybe a double commit there, and then it's a goal. But as we've already mentioned before, it's felt like Storm has been getting gifted a lot of their goals at times that Fearless Alpha haven't really had to earn them. As Levi and Oles can't find a connection in the midfield. Maddie trying to avoid an overtime in this third game. It's the second stick away. Larsson looking for a double tap, puts it a bit low, and this one popped up to Dylan. It is kept alive. I'm not sure who's going to get back to this ball first. It's going to be Oles through the corner. It's probably going to drop down. They had a chance to clear it out there, bring this series back to a 2-1 in their favour, but here we go again. OT in the third game, and I suppose we can't be surprised. These two teams placed very, very close to each other in the power rankings. We're expecting this to be close, and it has turned out that way so far, but I really feel like they'll be disappointed with a draw both sides. That's just the competitive nature of these kinds of players.
Yeah, a draw is definitely not how you want to get started in your sort of league play in your season.
Oh, Matty!
Matty looking for the doink. How has that stayed out? Levi tipping that one into the crossbar. Levi up again, looking to clear this one. So important, using Oles to his advantage to get this one clear. Oles again looking to keep possession. Larson putting that one infield to Matty, who looks for Dylan, although sold him a bit short there. Wizzo and Oles both up, neither of them connecting with it. And those are things you've got to be so careful of in these overtimes. You can't both go and not make contact. You're sending two players to the ball. One of them better make the touch. Larson looking to find the backboard here. Oles missing the read. Dylan couldn't quite get any conviction behind the shot. Maybe a little bit nervous coming into this third overtime of the series. But back to your point about neither side wanting a draw, you definitely do want to get off to a winning start. And you've got to think that whoever wins this game here is probably going to likely take game 4 as well. They'll just be so determined to win.
I mean, based on the history between these two teams, as short as it is, they went back and forth in the first and second. Have to see whether or not Storm can take this third game and get 2 on the bounce. Actually make it look like one of these two teams is going to win this series. Levi pushed forward and Maddie just about keeps it away, but all three of them in the corner, they're getting in each other's way again. Oles doesn't get the best control of that one, and it allows Fearless Alpha a little bit of time to breathe. Dylan pushes it forward as well. I just want to talk a little bit about the way that Storm, especially been defending the edge of their box. Levi made a crucial disruption play on Dylan. This one across Larson is there. It's going to hit the post and go wide. Maddie not in position as third man to get a shot away, but controls the ball so well. Tries to get it over Levi, but it's going to be denied. Dylan straight through the corner again, looking for his third man, Larson. Attempting a rapid double tap there, but won't make contact. Maddie wants to keep the pressure on, wants to make sure that Storm are never comfortable. Wizzo backflips. Could be a big mistake. Dylan loses control of the ball. Levi is backwards, attempting to clear this one out. Does find Wizzo. Going to find it up the wall as well. Dylan passes it in field, expecting Maddie to be there, but thankfully enough, he gets it away from Oles and prevents an easy shot for them. I think this is the longest overtime we've had, Kedzi, and you can just see that neither side wants to be too aggressive. They don't want to make that big mistake.
Well, more importantly, neither side wants to be one game away and just be playing for a draw. Both sides don't want to make that mistake. They want to stay firm. They want to stay solid at the back and make sure that they can put themselves in the driver's seat of this series. Obviously, losing this game would mean the best case scenario for them would be a draw. And of course, winning, worst case scenario, is a draw. It's so important to win this game 3. As Matty searching for the backboard, found it. Couldn't quite read the bounce. Dylan getting a flip reset off that touch. Couldn't quite use its advantage, but Larson finding the back of the net. Fearless Alpha take control of this series again. Dylan going for the double tap. Larson putting that one into the back of the net, firing that one home and firing Fearless into the lead in the series. And what an exciting way to end this game number 3.
And just as I was thinking, maybe it was a good thing that none of the players on Storm hit that ball, because it could have easily bounced out to one of the attackers on Fearless Alpha. But then Dylan doesn't hit the ball. I think Oles was expecting him to, based on the team chat going on right now. Was ready to stop his shot, but it ends up being Laz sensational, top of his team. 2 goals and 2 saves to his name. Ends up finishing this one off and putting Fearless Alpha into a strong position to take this series. I'm just wondering whether or not Storm can bounce back. I mean, we've seen them do it once, of course. It's just whether or not they have the gifts that Fearless Alpha were giving out. They've stopped being so generous, it seems like, through the midfield especially. But as I was talking about with Storm's defense, Levi particularly got 5 saves to his name there, which a bit inflated because of the long overtime. But his disruption play, he takes out a lot of second man players who are ready there for the shot, and that's just wise positioning. It's knowing where you need to be to prevent easy chances for your opponent. But it also means you're giving up space somewhere else, so they don't clear out the ball as quickly and they don't get strong counters. And that might be something that they're looking to change up. But because it's such a tight series, it feels like any sort of change could really mess things up, could really put a wrench in the gears. And I'm just wondering for Storm, does this break their mentality? Do they think, well, it's going to be too tough to take this one? I mean, they've already won a game in the series, so they shouldn't feel like that, but you never know. Sometimes the best of cases ends up being the worst of realities, especially for Rocket League teams. But this one's going all the way across the field. Matty opts to just take out the third man instead of going for that ball himself. Might have been the wrong decision, but it has led to an early start for Fearless Alpha to take control.
Yeah, Fearless Alpha, I mean, on the point of Storm's defense, I mean, if you talk about Fearless Alpha's offense for a second, they've been finding so much more joy with these infield passes, yet again, just as I'm saying, right on cue. Another example, Larson always looking to put that ball infield to his teammates, but did that come back to bite Ols? With a momentary chance to shoot, but that one shut down early. Wizzo infield, Leviathan finding that top corner of the net. And the way that Storm are responding to going down in this series, they don't want to lose. If they're playing for a draw, they're playing for the draw. They just do not want to let Fearless Alpha win. And obviously getting that first goal of this game 4 is the perfect way to do so.
Oh, could be another kickoff goal for Fearless Alpha, not quite. Yeah, that is the beauty of a set of 4 game series. Because every single game counts at the end of the season. Every single win is tallied up, and so you want to be fighting for every game as if it is your last, as if it is the one that clinches you playoffs, because that could just very well be the case by the end of that week 9. So should be fighting for it just as hard in a situation like this. A draw or not, it's 2 game wins. Whether or not you want to be a pessimist and see it as 2 game losses is up to you. It's how you deal with it. Your mentality is always takes a massive risk there, looking for the flick past Matty. It's worked out in their favour as Leviathan gets the shot across, and Hero's wondering. They change things up. Storm, they get more counter focused. They get a little bit more risky on defense because they're expecting Fearless Alpha to always challenge them, and they take the first 2-goal lead of this entire series.
Yeah, I mean, a brilliant point that you bring up, and the fact that that hasn't happened until game 4 is just a testament to how close this series has been. But just as I was talking about the offense from Fearless Alpha looking for these infield passes, I mean, we just saw Storm take a leaf out of their book, and Dylan looking for a pass infield. Matty couldn't quite bundle that one home. Got away with that? And Fearless just not quite executing on that final touch. Dylan looking to get that one infield. We got a Rule 1 on no other. Rule 2!
It's Rule 2.
Calls it no, it's
okay,
a
I'm an
Rule
OG.
1, my friend. It is a Rule 1, my friend.
All that matters is who scores.
None of it. Matty looking to get this one down the field, trying to take advantage of the 2v2 that is going on. I mean, we've all turned up here to watch some 3v3, but I guess we're watching some 2v2 for now. Levi's taking advantage of that space, going for the flip reset, and that's the thing to note. When both players respect the Rule 1 or Rule 2, or whatever you want to call it, where 2 cars are locked heads, it's important to note there is extra space on the field to take advantage of. And what do you think these sides are going to do to adapt to the 2v2 game rather than the 3v3?
Oh, it's opened up and Dylan finally finishes it off. And just going back to the rules, I'm a massive advocate for it. I think it's important to follow them. You know, it's all about order in this case, but it also makes things extremely interesting in a situation where, I mean, you're expected to see 3v3 gameplay, then suddenly it's 2v2. It just adds another layer of tension and of strategy to the way that these players play, because what if they're complete 3s means they've rarely played 2s? That means that they're not as prepared for that situation, and they don't know how to utilize that space, especially for mechanical players, as we see like Leviathan and Ols here. Extremely mechanical. When they get that space to play with, they can do some really dangerous things, really impressive things as well. Exciting Rocket League. Just ended up with a simple shot to the far post that ended it. And thankfully for Fearless Alpha, it went their way. They won the 2v2, but now back to 3v3. Leviathan's going to fake out one. Gets Maddie out the way, but Larson just about gets out of the clutches of Ols disruption to jump on that one and prevent a free shot for Leviathan to work with. They're holding on now, and I think maybe they changed it up a little bit. Storm, they might have thought maybe get a bit more defensive, a little bit more passive, since they had that 2-goal lead and they had a bit of a safety net. But now it's back to 1 goal. It makes things interesting, and they've got to continue to do the things that work well for them. As Maddie gets a fake out on one, and then the demo at the back line opposite. Oh, but Maddie misses. Dylan has to be there to finish it off, and Maddie did everything right, and then at the final hurdle he needed a teammate to save him.
Yeah, Matty couldn't quite pinch that one in off the post. The cut just going over his car instead of actually changing the direction of the ball. Things going a little bit wrong for Matty, but as Larson put in the quick chat in the lobby, calculated. I'm sure that is probably the best way to describe that play. Matty making the best out of what really could have been a bad situation. As we're all tied up again, this series could go either way right now. Are Fearless going to completely turn it on its head and take the 3-1 lead, or are Storm going to put a wrench in there and just really take the draw and really deny Fearless the victory? Well, we're about to find out, as Matty couldn't quite change direction on that ball enough. I was reading that one, I'd say perfectly, stop the ball going into the back of the net, as we might, well, be destined for, guess what, yet another overtime.
I mean, we're making history and breaking records in some way. The first game in this series that's gone above 3 goals, that's a big milestone, especially for these teams. They're starting to open up a little bit, maybe get a little bit more reckless in their play, and that's allowed more time for the offenses to flourish. But this was straight across the midfield. Wizzo's just about there. Levi wasn't. Dylan is there too, and Larson's going to be following up as well. But somehow Storm get blockers in the way. Not for this one. Never mind. Maddie's there instead to get blocked by Leviathan. Still, Dylan has a bit of time on the ball. Not much boost. Gets a pass across to Larson. Wizzo wasn't there, and he's gonna. Oh my goodness! Oh, the clock stopped it. They prevented Fearless Alpha from taking this series. Storm have another chance, but they've lost the kickoff, and Maddie doesn't get the best control of that ball through the corner, but they still have pressure on, even into this OT.
Fearless have got to regain after that one. They came so close to just clutching it in the final seconds, just for the clock to deny them. Not even a player, which has been
Larson!
Wofford Larson finding the back of the net, clinching the 3-1 victory for Fearless Alpha. And the man who has come up so clutch for Fearless in this series does it yet again. Larson, the man of the moment for Fearless, taking the victory in their first game of this circuit.
This is for the times I cried.